Well folks, I have a confession to make. I've just gone and bought myself one of the new Bachmann narrow gauge Ffestiniog Railway Double Fairlie models. Was this worth it? Well, let's find out. So in the winter announcements, Bachmann announced a new tooled Double Fairlie for the narrow gauge range, which took us all by surprise because we didn't really expect them to do it. I certainly didn't. And they've announced 4 different versions. This particular one that I have is Livingston Thompson in the Ffestiniog Railway Lime Maroon livery, which is the one I wanted. And I bought this model today, at the time of filming, from Footplate in Kidderminster. And I took a trip down there and bought this from the shop. And the reason I did that is because that way I get hold of the model straight away, so I don't have to wait for a few days for it to come in the post, especially given with it now being coming up towards the Christmas holiday period. So I'm dying to get this model out of the box and getting it running on the layout and having a look at it. So we're going to do that now. So here we have the model unboxed and down on the layout, and I have to say, in this style of format, having a 009 locomotive on the narrow gauge track in front of the camera, it really is quite something. It's been absolutely ages since I last reviewed a 009 locomotive, and with this particular locomotive I'm blown away by it. First of all, it works straight out of the box, and the mechanism that this model has is beautifully smooth in both directions, and it goes without saying that there isn't any quality control issues on the model, so I don't need to stop listing all of those. And it's just amazing, and especially to own a Double Fairlie in RTR in 009, you know, it's like I've died and gone to heaven, because I've always loved the Double Fairlie, and naturally I wanted to have one in my small narrow gauge fleet, and so now I have one thanks to Bachmann. So making a start with the detail, first of all we have the couplings, which don't have the brackets on them as per the Baldwins and with the quarry huntlets they're doing, but they are removable. So if, let's say, you got a second Double Fairlie and wish to double head them, all you need to do is to pull this coupling out of the pocket and then fit a coupling that has the bracket. We have vacuum pipes on both ends of the loco, and they are separately fitted. We've also got separately fitted handrails on the smoke boxes that run up above the smoke box door on both ends as well, and they are made out of metal, and they've got that polished brass look to them. They're not made out of plastic and painted to look like brass. They are actually metal, and that's part of the finish, which is lovely to see. We've also got a separately fitted smoke box door pin dart, I believe it's called, and you've also got a builder's plate which has been printed onto the side of the smoke box, and the printing on that is just second to none. We also have sandpots fitted on the model as per the prototype, and they're separately fitted. And also, just behind the sandpot, you can see we've got that steam piping there, which is separately fitted on the smoke box. We've got lots of rivets on the water tanks, and we also have again separately fitted metal handrails. We've also got the coal bunkers on top of the tanks, and they've got coal loads in them already. I suppose if you wanted to, you could scatter real coal in those. And we've also got the water filler caps with the what look like eye pins on the top of those, and that bit of detail is also separately fitted. We also have some fantastic detail on the cylinder heads with rivets and the cylinder heads themselves are painted in that silver colour on the outside, red in the middle, and then you've got that detail in the middle, and that's been separately fitted and painted. And it's even little details like that just make a whole big difference to the model and just make it more detailed and more like the real thing. We've got the whistle and safety valves just fitted behind the dome there in front of the cab, and some steam pipe in there as well, which you can just about see. And that's all been separately fitted and painted. The outside window trims on the cab windows have been painted, and they've been painted in that brass colour. And there are glazing in all the cab windows as well. On the cab we've got separately fitted handrails. And for the interior detail, you will have to excuse that I'm using a torch to see into there, because I can't see the detail very well in this lighting without it. But all the detail in there has been picked out and painted. The inside of the cab itself is not painted, it's painted red. So perhaps maybe it might have been nice if it was painted cream, but that's just a minor little niggle thing, and it certainly does not detract from the model. But the detail that is in there that has been painted, it just looks stunning. And the livery itself is absolutely superb. The application is stunning, there's no imperfections anywhere at all. And it's a beautiful and correct shade of red, and I chose the red one because I thought it was probably one of the smartest out of the ones that they've produced. And also the gorgeous printed lining on the cylinders, on the cab sides and on the water tanks, and even on the frames as well. It's just been beautifully done. And you've got the printed nameplates as well. You do get etched nameplates applied with this model, which I shall be fitting. And you've also got the Ffestiniog Railway logos there on the cab sides as well. Again, very crisply printed and superbly done as well. And then I'll just show you the other side of the loco very quickly. You can see the reversing lever in there and some extra detail just in the middle there of the firebox. And on top of the tanks we have what look like some form of storage boxes, I believe they are, of some form. And on the one side of the loco we have some steam piping as well, which actually runs into one of those boxes. And, you know, the detail that's gone into this model is just absolutely stunning, and they really have captured the look and the profile of the Double Fairlie superbly. I would just quickly like to talk about the mechanism. I'm not going to take this model apart to show you, but I will put a link in below to a photograph that's on a site that has the model taken apart. Basically, there's a motor hidden under the firebox, and on both ends of the model, hidden underneath the tanks, there are two shafts, and they have worm gears on the end basically. And I think that's actually quite a very clever idea. I was expecting originally, prior to seeing that photograph, of two mechanisms hidden under the water tanks, but now there's just the one. So I think that's actually quite clever, especially given where they've hidden it, under the firebox. So thumbs up to Bachmann for that one. One thing that is worth noting are the pickups, which they are a bit exposed when you're looking under the model from this angle. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not fussed about that too much, because you're never really going to notice that, because when you're looking at it from this angle you can't really see them, and this is the angle you'll see the loco pretty much all of the time. But if you are fussed about those, you can just simply paint over the parts of the contacts that are exposed. It's something I have done with the Bachmann Class 37s that I own. You just take some black paint, just paint over them. As long as you don't paint over the bits that go to the wheels, then you'll be fine. So that ends my review on the Bachmann narrow gauge Ffestiniog Railway Double Fairlie, and that brings me on to my conclusion. So, is this model worth the money? I know that for some £199 does seem expensive for this model. If you want a same fitted version, it's just over 300 quid. It's in the £300 price mark. And if you want the collector version, it's £235. But I definitely think it's worth it. Admittedly, at first I was unsure about spending this amount of money on this model, but then I just got drawn into it because I have wanted a Double Fairlie in my loco fleet for a long time. And so I just got tempted and I couldn't resist in the end, and so I thought, you know what, I'll get me wallet edge and I'll treat myself. And I don't regret spending this amount of money on this model. I definitely think it's worth it. I know that some people have pointed out a couple of issues over the prototype, over the real loco, but to be quite honest, you know, I'm not really bothered by that. Any issue that this model might have like that I can overlook, because they have still captured the look of the prototype superbly and very, very well. It's definitely worlds apart from the kits that he had to build previously if you wanted a Double Fairlie in 009. And it's just an exquisite model. Absolute smooth mechanism as well. Of all the narrow gauge locos I have, this is easily, probably, one of the smoothest, if not the smoothest mechanism on any loco in that scale that I have. So, if you do model 009, and this is a model that you'd like to get, and you're willing to spend this amount of money, then get out now and do it, because these are proving to be popular, and if you don't have 009, then you're missing out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this model hauling the four-wheel coaches on the layout. I'm just going to get a few shots of it running. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you've enjoyed. As ever, please subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. Also, don't forget to smash the like button, and please check out all the other content I have on the channel. But until next time, I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.